Now, before we have our Bible reading, there are so many things, big things going on at the moment in our world. There's a new prime minister in this country. There's an attempted assassination of a former US president last night. There's the finals of the Euros tonight. But I just wanted to take just a few minutes before we have our Bible reading, just to update on what is going on in a different sphere, not politics, not sport, but the Church of England. Last week, I wasn't here last Sunday, you may have spotted if you were here. I was at the latest meeting of General Synod in York, which is sort of like the parliament, the government, if you like, of the Church of England, with about 500 people at it. And there were debates about marriage, and sexual ethics and same-sex relationships were yet again at the forefront of what was being discussed. So let me just quickly, 5-6 minutes, just try and give you a brief sort of update and really try and answer 4 questions for you, a bit like I've done a couple of times before in the last 18 months. And here are the 4 questions. The first one, what happened at Synod? This time there was a motion to approve standalone services blessing same-sex couples, which will be able to look very much like a same-sex wedding. And the motion also included a timetable for vicars to be able to enter into a same-sex marriage themselves. And both standalone services and clergy in same-sex marriages could begin from next February. Voting was again very close with this motion, the motion being passed by just 56% of bishops, 52% of clergy, and 51% of laity. So a very weak mandate for change on such a significant issue. Indeed, actually an unlawful mandate, because if you're trying to change a doctrinal matter, the church rules say that you need a vote of 2/3 in support in each of those 3 categories: bishops, clergy, and laity. Now, I'm sure there will be some here this morning who, unlike me, you're fully supportive of this way forwards. And of course, you are totally entitled to your view. You're totally welcome here. You're a valued part of HTC. But what I'm guessing all of us can agree on is that what is going on at Synod is an attempt to change the concept of marriage being between one man and one woman, as set out in creation in Genesis 2, and affirmed by Jesus in the New Testament in Matthew 19. So just to give you one example, take the Bishop of Bath and Wells. He has been supportive of some of the previous changes, but at Synod last week, on Monday, he stood up and he said he could not support this motion. He said he couldn't support it because the Church of England has previously agreed at Synod not to do anything which would contradict the doctrine of marriage, and yet, I quote him, he said, the standalone services look very much like a wedding. The absence of clarity, he said, is causing rage and distrust about our process. This motion will generate more problems than it solves. And I think he's right. What we had happen at Synod was a de facto and in practice change of doctrine, or to be more accurate, a de facto attempt to change the doctrine of the Church of England. So, second question, what was the response of the Orthodox, so those people who hold a traditional received teaching on marriage and sexuality? I'm part of an organisation set up called the Alliance, which currently has over 2,000 vicars supporting it, whose churches represent some 37% of total Church of England church attendance and 57% of attendance of those under the age of 18 across the country. And we're saying there are big problems with the direction of travel in the Church of England on this matter. So we're saying there are theological problems, so teaching something different from what the Bible teaches, and in such a sort of core and clear matter that we can't just sort of agree to disagree. The doctrine of marriage, it is there throughout Scripture from Genesis through to Revelation. So saying there are theological problems, there are procedural problems, the archbishops and many of the bishops pushing through this agenda in a way that isn't following due process, and that is leading to missional problems. So this is causing, if you like, a car crash in terms of mission and evangelism in the church in this country, not least the fact that the pipeline of new vicars entering into the Church of England is currently decimated because no one wants to be a vicar if they're not sure what the organisation believes that they're joining. So that the number of people going into training to be a vicar is 40% down on what it was last year. So because of this de facto in practice attempt to have a new doctrine, the Alliance are beginning to set up a de facto parallel province within the Church of England. Now, some people have said, isn't that a bit drastic? But the reality is it is actually the very opposite. It's only in response to this de facto attempt to change doctrine that we're then setting up this de facto parallel province. And it is with the purpose of enabling people who might otherwise feel they're forced to leave the Church of England because of all these changes, helping them to stay in the Church of England whilst we are in this time where there's currently no settlement of a way forwards that everybody is happy with. So to give you one example, we're setting up a new pre-ordination stream for potential trainee vicars in partnership with the Orthodox bishops to reverse this decline in the pipeline of new vicars, helping people still be able to go through and be vicars if that's what they would like to do. Thirdly, what is the solution to the mess that the Church of England finds itself in? Everyone would love a solution to the situation. We have currently a Church of England that is split right down the middle, that is divided, that is disunited, seemingly never-endingly arguing. Some want change from what has been taught throughout history and across the world, the revisionists. Some do not want any change, saying God's teaching on marriage and sex doesn't alter over time, the Orthodox, and some people are not sure what they think. But all want to try and find a solution that works for everyone. Yet currently, what is being proposed, there is no adequate, secure space in the Church of England where those with orthodox views can flourish. Now, the Archbishops of Canterbury and York have both said very warm words at General Synod this last week about the alliance being a valuable part of the Church of England going forwards. But our hope and our prayer is that in the coming months, as we meet for direct negotiations with those bishops and archbishops, that we might be able to agree a settlement that works for everyone. That not just part of the Church of England, but it works for everyone. And if I'm honest, what has happened so far is that both sides, if you like, I don't like the use of the word sides, but both groups, Orthodox and revisionists, have been appealed to give up a part of what they hold dear. And I believe both sides are willing to do that. But the bishops themselves also need to be willing to give up some of what they hold dear. And I think that means them being willing to let some churches currently in their own diocese have, if you like, different bishoply oversight. So that Orthodox clergy can link to an Orthodox bishop if they currently are linked to a progressive one, and progressive clergy can link to a progressive bishop if they currently have an Orthodox one. So transferring this oversight, even creating a non-geographic province to do this, so that it works for all the Church of England, not just for some of it. And then finally, final question, what difference does all that make for us here at HTC on a day-to-day basis? In some senses, not that much in the short term. As I've said many, many, many times, everybody is welcome here at HTC. Whatever your past, your present, your future. Everybody is welcome here, whatever your sexuality, whatever your theological beliefs, everybody is 100% totally welcome here. We will keep, as a church, recognizing the profound heartache that this whole debate causes for everyone. All of us, we will probably be aware of this heartache within families, within friendship groups, people who hold contrasting views. This tension, it weighs heavily on us as we look to live out radical Christian inclusion and radical Christian holiness together. And I think it is so important that we all desire for everyone to experience the joy of relationship, be that in friendships or in church family or in marriage. But we also recognize that even the very best relationships will never completely fulfill us. And that's why, as a church, we keep pointing to Jesus above all. We keep pointing to Jesus. That is who we long for, and that is what we long for us as a church to be focused on. For it is in relationship with Jesus that one day all our relational longings that cannot be fully satisfied anywhere else, one day all our relational longings will be finally and fully satisfied forever in him, in Jesus. And in the meantime, we keep praying for unity in the Church of England. It is so painful to see it so divided. And in my role on Synod, along with many others, I'm going to keep being a part of keeping on working for a speedy settlement and a way forwards that works for all. And if you would like more information about all that's going on, if you want more information about the Alliance, you can head to their website, alliance cof.org. But above all, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of HTC. Thank you for praying for all that's going on. And please do pray that we might have a settlement speedily that works for all the Church of England.